There was this bar that I read and it said, if you don't know what you're doing, hire someone that does.
Yeah.
And I did.
That's a big point because so many people, they think they see a mentor or a coach as an expense. But if your mentor is doing their job, then it's not an expense. It's like an investment.
They say jiu-jitsu is like a game of chess. You have to be able to know how to play it. You got to be able to know how to set things up. Like they say, it's a game of chess because you got to think about your next move ahead of time.
Recently, I was a podcast with this guy. He's a fighter, Damian Maya. And man, he hit some bars that I got to repeat. He said, like, the way you are in jiu-jitsu is the way you are in life.
So I go in the shop and I'm like, I'm going to beat my record today and I'm going to beat your record and I'm going to hit 95 haircuts today. Like I make money. I'm cutting billionaires. Like the most I've ever gotten paid was $4,000 off one cut.
For one cut? Welcome back to the A-Lister Show, where we bring on movers and shakers, entrepreneurs, people doing interesting things, and today's guest is no different. We have today Alex Estrada. He's celebrity barber, entrepreneur, and just an all-around cool cat. So welcome, Alex. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Man, I'm so happy to have you here today.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah. So tell us about, first of all, just what it is you do. A little bit of background about yourself.
So what do I do? Okay, so I'm a franchise barbershop owner. I have 3 locations. I got 2 locations in Orange County, and I got one right here in San Diego.
Okay, cool. How long you been doing barbershop for? So
I started cutting hair at age 21. It was 2013. By 2018, I opened up my first location in San Clemente, California.
Okay.
And then during COVID, I opened up my second location in Mission Viejo.
Okay,
yes,
cool. And how do you like doing that?
It was cool. Like I was very passionate about barbering, cutting hair. I'm actually 3rd generation barber. So, my grandfather, he's a barber.
Oh, damn.
My uncles are barbers. And, it's through my mother's side of the family. We're all barbers. So we're all in the industry, So I was very passionate. And honestly, I thought I was going to do this like my whole life. So when I first got into the barbering industry, my main goal was to open up a barbershop.
I bet there's a lot of differences between barbershops now and barbershops back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever get time to spend time with your family, like in their old barbershops?
So the funny thing is, man, like, so my mother's side of the family, they're all in Mexico, so they never pushed it on me. We would see each other, family would visit, and my grandfather would cut my hair, growing up, hit my neck with the straight razor and all that. So it was pretty cool. But I actually got inspired, man, when I was living in San Bernardino. Every time I would get an allowance, I would roll up to the local neighborhood barbershop, ghetto as hell, right next to the Southside projects. And, I would pull up as much as I could, because they're very, very skilled, man. They had the cleanest fades, cleanest tapers with the lineups, and they did the best design. So they were very artistic, man. So that's where I got my inspiration. And I would see these barbers pull out like wads of cash. And so when I would see that, I was like, these guys got money. Like these guys are listening to like hip hop. They're wearing like cool clothes and they're just having fun, while making money. So I was like, that's how I got started in it. And that was like me seeing an opportunity to eventually open up my own barbershop.
Yeah. And the barbershop's really like a hub, right? It's like where people get together, right? They come talk shit.
Yeah.
They come, they come weekly. They come regularly, and you see your favorite people all the time. And that's like the spot for the community, right?
All the time. So we would roll up, man, deep because we were in high school. And, when you're in high school, man, you have all the time in the world. So, I was hanging out with like the cool kids, the local hits. And man, we would roll in deep and, we would wait all day in the barbershop till the last one of us got their haircut, So we would all mob in together and bullshit and, have a good time because the barbers are like our homies. So it was a good time. So,
Oh yeah. So you opened your first one, you said in 2013? No, what did you say?
In 2018 was when I
2018?
first, yeah, it was my first barbershop in San Clemente, California.
And then you got a second one.
Yeah, Mission Viejo.
Yeah. What made you want to open up that second one?
So I was doing good, man. So my first year as a barber, it was kind of hard hiring barbers at the time, but I started with the one barber and I trained him, and then like he started gaining his clientele because he was a local cat, so he knew people. I already had a lot of clientele, man. So every day I was booked out from opening to close, and over time, man, I was able to build a shop with barbers. You know, it was fully packed. We're doing good, man. By the second year, like I was already making profits, you know. And so I always looked at the franchise play, you know. So that was my motivation, was to open up my second shop.
Yeah. Well, what surprised you about opening up that second shop? Like, was it harder than you thought it was going to be? Did it cost more? Did you make more money than you expected? Or did you make less money than you expected?
Yeah, so it was so different, man, because in the first location, I went all in. I was like, man, if I'm gonna open up a shop, I'm gonna have the best shop in town. I'm gonna buy the best chairs, the best tiles, the best like furniture, the best lighting, everything. Had a big mural on the walls with the logos and everything. Got that custom made. And I was wearing all hats in that shop. So I was the business owner, I was the barber, and then I was the manager. So when there was a barber that was late or missing, I'd be on his ass like, yo, where you at? Like, pull up right now. I need you. Like, you're fucking up. Like, pull up. So I'd keep guys on check. So on my second location, same thing. I went all in, best everything. The only difference was that I was trying to become the same. I was trying to wear all hats for two barbershops. I was trying to be the business owner, the manager, the barber. I was trying to do all that for both shops. And it was so different, you know? It was the way you run one shop is not the way you run two shops.
Yeah.
So after acquiring multiple locations, I learned that you got to have systems and processes in play to be able to scale your business.
Yeah. That's when you go from being an operator to being a manager and a business owner. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so what are some of the things you learned when you kind of made that process?
So I learned that I needed to hire mentors, man. I learned that I know that what you don't know, you have to hire somebody that does.
Yeah.
So that you're able to get through that struggle or whatever you're going through. Because it could be a lot more expensive trying to figure it out on your own than to hire somebody to teach you how to do it the proper way.
Yeah.
So that's what I've learned through the process.
Yeah. And that's a big point, because so many people, they see a mentor or a coach as an expense. But if your mentor is doing their job, then it's not an expense.
Yeah.
It's like an investment.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So can I add something to that?
Please.
Okay. So before I opened up my first barbershop, I started educating myself. I started reading books. I started reading books on commercial real estate. I started reading books on corporations. I started reading books on branding. I created my own logo. And I wanted to position myself as best as possible to become a successful, barbershop owner. So I went to Barnes & Nobles. I was scouting through all the books on commercial leasing. I found a book, Commercial Leasing for Dummies. I read the whole thing front to back. And, real estate wasn't like my strength. I've always wanted to learn about it because I knew that eventually I had to know about it to open up my own barbershop and sign my own leases. So I read the book, I studied it, but I still wasn't confident. So at the back of the page, there's the author that wrote it, and it had his information. Like, if you guys need any help, like, send me an email or give me a call. I can help you with any questions that you have. So I called the author of the book, and I told him, hey, man, I'm a young cat. I want to open up my barbershop. But I was like, I I don't have the confidence to sign my own lease because I don't know much about commercial leasing, because commercial leasing is way different than signing a lease to an apartment.
Yeah.
It's way different. It's more intricate. There's more to it. And so, so I ended up hiring him, and he was my consultant for my leasing that I got for my first shop and my second shop. Wow.
That's some initiative right there. A lot of people read a book and like, okay. And then you try to implement some stuff, and some stuff works, some stuff. We took the actual steps to meet somebody and actually have that person help you out.
And I was young, man. I was like 24 years old. Wow. But, there's this bar that I read, and it said, if you don't know what you're doing, hire someone that does.
Yeah.
And I did.
Was that your first like coach or mentor that you ever hired?
No. I've always gone to seminars, business seminars. When I started my branding, my brand, my logo, I started doing clothing, because at the time I was working at a different shop. So I was already on my social media shit. I was posting on Instagram. And so I knew that branding was very, very important. So I went to this, let me backtrack. I read Damon John's book. Mm-hmm. It was The Power of Broke, I believe. And Damon John, for those of you that don't know, he was the owner of FUBU, the clothing brand FUBU. So he was throwing a seminar in LA because I wanted to learn about, clothing. And there was a lot of other gurus in that seminar. And one of them was about real estate. So after that event, I dropped a couple racks to go to the real estate event to learn about it more. So when I went to that real estate event, I knew that, man, I don't know a lot about real estate, so I started reading books. I started reading commercial leasing books. And I think that was my first event that I went to.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember my first event. My first event was a Tony Robbins event.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Heavy hitter.
Yeah. So I read that book, The Secret, back in the day. I was into that. You read The Secret?
Is that the law of attraction?
Pretty much.
It's called The Secret, but it's similar to the law of attraction.
Exactly.
Did he write that?
No.
Okay.
And it was funny because The Secret is like, you have to the secret is you have to visualize whatever you want in your life. You have to embody it. You have to really just put full intention behind it. You want a car, you got to sit in your sofa and just imagine yourself driving that dream car, or whatever is in your life. You have to really visualize it and just embody that every single day.
Yeah.
And the more you do that, it actually the theory is that it kind of the brain synapses start to fire in that direction more frequently. And then all of a sudden it becomes more natural, because if you never even could imagine yourself driving a Rolls Royce, and all of a sudden you dedicate 10, 15 minutes every single day to imagining it, all of a sudden it starts to at least become a little more real.
More realistic.
And then the universe aligns, right? So then, but what was crazy was because Tony Robbins comes up and he's like, listen, guys, I know you guys are all here for this secret, but you can't get the life that you want just by wishing for it.
Right.
And I was like, damn, that was crazy. Because everyone else up to that point was like, yeah, just wish for it. You got to think about it. You got to dream about it. You got to imagine it. And then Tony Robbins comes up and he's like, you can't just wish your way out of shit.
Yeah.
But bro, Tony Robbins, man, that was an incredible experience. Let me tell you about it.
Tell me.
So I remember it was on my birthday, and it was my birthday present to myself. It cost $100, and it was a lot of money for me at the time. And I remember thinking okay, so he said okay, if I put $1 million in your account tomorrow, how would you feel? And then everyone was like, yeah. He's like, no, I don't think you guys heard me. You've been wanting $1 million for your entire life, and I put $1 million in your account tomorrow. How do you feel? And all of a sudden the crowd started going crazy, He's like, no, I don't think you guys heard me. He's like, and then pretty much he got the entire fucking audience to go wild, jumping, screaming, and the energy in this room was wild, and it was just crazy because one of his points was that's what it feels like, and you can have those types of feelings, and feelings are just a feeling. And what you want to chase after in life is a state, and you can actually put yourself in these states like manually. Like you get to be in charge of your state. And so if you want to be in a powerful state, you just demand that out of your physiology. He'd go like this. You demand it out of your state. You know, he made these big fucking paws. You know, he's like, you demand it out of your physiology. You know, like I want to be in a good mood. I'm in a good mood. You know, and it was wild. And just the energy that he brought to the entire room was just incredible. It's hard to explain. Just being in a room of like it was a sports arena.
Okay.
And I don't know what they call it nowadays, but then the whole place was just popping, and it was like he demanded this energy out of everybody in the room. And like, you know, you leave that area just thinking like, you know, like whatever it is that I want in life, you can demand it out of your physiology, and you can demand it out of your psychology by requiring that you get into that state. And he would talk about how he would go into sales meetings. He used to drive from door to door, like from one sales point to the other. And then, you know, he would like be priming himself in the car. You ever watch The Office?
I haven't.
No. Oh, this is Dwight, the silly character, and like before every sales appointment, he would have to like close the door, and then he would play this rock and roll music. And he just like bang out and shit. But it's the same thing. It's like you put yourself in that state.
Okay.
And that's just the beautiful thing about it is, you know, we are in charge of our state. We can't always be like, you can't always be in charge of the things that happen to you, but we can be in charge of our state. And if we're in charge of that, then the universe kind of aligns around that. But it was pretty cool. That was my first event with Tony Robbins. And
and then by the state, you mean the mind?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So a state is, and a state is like, it's kind of like an operating system. And so you can be at a state of disappointment. And if you are in a state of disappointment, then you look at the world through eyes of disappointment. And if you're in a power state, then you look at the eyes through that lens. Look at the world through that lens. So if you are in a state of abundance, then abundance is going to follow you. And I'm sure I'm butchering the whole thing, but you know, just the fact that like whatever state that you want to be in, so whatever mental state you want to be in, you demand that from yourself, and then you project that energy back out into the world. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I've heard a lot of good things about his live events.
Oh man,
and that's on my bucket list.
Yeah. I know he charges crazy amounts of money to go to these events, to have these events. And I remember recently there was a Tony Robbins event, and I wanted to go so bad, and then I didn't go. And my friends told me, he didn't even go. Like he doesn't even go to these events that much anymore. So he has like all of his students or whatever his coaching people go do these events. So I know nowadays like he charges crazy amounts of money, like crazy.
I heard
he works with the best of the best. You know?
Yeah.
You got to pay him like 100 racks if you want to get in a room with that guy, you know.
Easy.
But that's it, you know, yeah. So, but he has tons of content that people can consume for free.
Right.
So yeah. So what about? I want to know. We'll talk a little more about mentorship, but I'm curious about like your backstory. Like, what was it like growing up for you?
Yeah. So growing up, man. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Alex Estrada. I'm originally from Mexico, Jalisco, Mexico. So at the age of 4, my dad lost his job. We moved to San Clemente, California. Shortly after, my parents got a divorce. So my dad moved to San Bernardino. I moved with him. So as a father, as a single parent, you know, he was always working, you know, to provide for me and my older sister, to put food on the table. So, you know, I started hanging out with bad influences. You know, I started hanging out in the streets. I started getting in trouble with the cops. I started getting in trouble for spray painting on walls and on probation. And my best friend Adolfo, man, rest in peace, he was a street cat. So, you know, I remember one day we were running away from the cops. We had a sawed-off shotgun. The reason why we had that sawed-off shotgun was because his sister had gotten threatened. So it was more for protection. The cops showed up and we just booked it. We booked it. Adolfo had the sawed-off shotgun. We started hopping fences. We got away, you know. But yeah, it started getting sketchy. I started, you know, stashing revolvers in my room. It just started getting worse, man. And growing up, like, I didn't have anybody to look up to. Like, nobody in my family were entrepreneurs. Nobody was like a business owner, like in my immediate family and like all my relatives, you know? So I always had that desire to become the first one to be an entrepreneur, to be able to break the family curse. So I always had that desire that, man, one day, like, I'm gonna be that person. I'm gonna be the one to have a business, you know? So, 50 Cent was one of my role models growing up, So, yeah. So, I knew that living in that environment, man, it wasn't gonna take me there, So at a young age, I made the decision to move away from my best friend, to move away from my family, to move away from the city that I had so much pride for at the time. And I moved back to my mom's house, San Clemente. So I moved away to start over. And it actually got worse because, as a new kid, man, you're always going to get tested. And I got tested and I started getting into a lot of fights there too in San Clemente, And one thing that saved me though, like from getting in trouble was football. I had to keep my GPA on point. So I knew that I just had to get on my shit, And eventually the bullies, man, they just found out that I wasn't the one to bully, So got my shit together, got caught up with all my credits, was eventually able to graduate, man. And that was a big deal because, a lot of people in my family, my relatives, man, they didn't graduate high school, So I was the one born in Mexico. I was the one in ESL classes. I was the one getting in trouble, like probation, the knucklehead, they didn't think I was going to graduate. So when I did, like, it surprised everybody, So when I graduated, I started training MMA.
I know that.
I started training MMA. Okay. I got into Muay Thai.
In San Clemente?
Jiu-Jitsu. We had a boxing coach. And so we did Jiu-Jitsu, no-gi and gi, traditional. If you do Jiu-Jitsu, you might know who my instructor is, or if you might have heard of him, but he was a 7th degree black belt under the Carlson Gracie umbrella. His name is Professor Alberto dos Santos.
Okay.
So he's a big dog. Like if you go to any of the like competitions, like the big tournaments, bro, like I remember rolling up with him and bro, he was like a celebrity. So yeah, it was cool. So we did that. I did that for like 3 years religiously. I was trying to become a pro. Never got my pro card because we were doing everything underground fights, like all of that, So, back then, I'm trying to make it sound like it was so long ago, but back then, like UFC wasn't what it is today. They were still getting their own sponsorships. Now they're like sponsored by Reebok, so it's more corporate. But at the time, like even now as a beginner, like you're not making a lot of money.
Oh no, you're not making
shit. You like I didn't have insurance. And so it was a struggle, man. So I stopped training because I had to figure out like how to make more money, And I started thinking of ways, and I was like, you know what? Like I'm gonna start cutting hair, and I'm gonna open up my barbershop. So that's how that started.
Man, martial arts is like one of the biggest gifts I think anybody can ever have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it teaches you so much. What did it do for you?
Man, so much, man. You're so right. For one, it built my discipline. I built discipline. I built confidence.
How did it build your discipline?
So I built my discipline by knowing that if somebody's talking shit about me, I have the discipline not to go and beat his ass because I know I could hurt him and I know I could fight and I know I could beat him.
Yeah.
I never really got tested like that, but it's that discipline in me. And it's also like the discipline and doing the things you have to do when you don't want to do them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning because most people aren't. Getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning because billionaires are waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. They say, beat the sun and you've conquered your day, So that's the discipline that I acquired from that. It's reading books when you want to lay down and watch TV. It's hitting the gym when you just want to, just chill and be lazy. It's doing the things you don't want to do is what helped me when I started training MMA, and also respect. You know, because when you go to all these tournaments, like everybody's walking around with cauliflower ears, a lot of beautiful women, and it's like you don't want to disrespect the wrong guy because you will get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
So it builds a lot of like respect.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I do martial arts too. And I think one of the biggest things that it taught me is it taught me how to learn.
Yeah.
So I would have people, like, I used to think that, I just learned that, like, first of all, if like there's so many things, I don't even want to go with this, but like one thing is like that there's levels. Right. It's like, I don't care how hard you train for 2 years, 3 years. You're not going to be better than someone that's been doing this for the past 10 years.
Right, exactly.
You just won't.
You won't.
You know? And so it's like, and you could do this every single day for the next 3 years, and then just be a toy to someone that has levels above you. And you could be like, beat every single person in the room, but then you go to a different room and all of a sudden, somebody can just completely control you, have their way with you. And then, so there's that, like, actual, like, levels, like, and that's, and you don't really see it. Like how can it be possible that I'm strong, I am trained, I focus on this for years, and then someone else, just does things the right way, and they're just so much better than me. And even if you're a black belt, like there's levels to black belts, and it's just crazy. Yeah. Like and then that happens in life, and you think, okay, let's say I'm a barber. I've been cutting hair for 5 years. Well, there's somebody out there that is like, they've mastered those small little details that just make them, the ability to do celebrities, or to earn the right to do, and it's everything. And in business and in life, and sometimes you think like, oh, I'm pretty good at this, but someone else is like levels above you, and you can learn from those people. You can like absorb that information, those skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. And one last thing is that, like, when it taught me how to learn, what does that mean? Is you have to, like, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. And when a professor teaches you something, you can go off and try to just do it your own way, or you can do it exactly the way that he did it, and you're going to get the exact same results.
Right.
And then doing the boring stuff over and over and over and over and over again until it becomes muscle memory. Like, there's a move, and you have to do it like inch by inch. Every single move has to be like correct and slow, and then you can do it faster. Yeah, and you can't just watch something and then go implement it. It doesn't work like that. You have to do the boring stuff over and over and over, and master the fundamentals. You can't skip steps. And just learning how to learn, which is, find the people that are like actually good at this stuff and know how to do this stuff. I started getting into instructionals during the pandemic. I spent $200 on a jiu-jitsu instructional from Gordon Ryan, and my wife thought I was great. $200 for a video? I'm like, just watch.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And it's like now I have access to what, like, instead of going to a class and learning whatever move they want to teach me that day, I have like an actual video that I can stop, rewind, slow motion, watch 100 times, focus on whatever I want to focus on, what details. Then you go back to it, like you try it out and go back to it. And like having a blueprint of what you need to do has been like a huge, like those instructionals for me has been really big.
Man, I used to just sit on my desktop and just study all the greatest, like, jiu-jitsu, all the grapplers all day, every day. And they say jiu-jitsu is like a game of chess. Like, you have to be able to know how to play it. You got to be able to know how to set things up, like set, like, whatever it is, sweeps or like arm bars or triangles. Like, there's ways of doing it, ways of setting people up. And it's like they say, it's a game of chess because you got to think about your next move ahead of time. Yeah. So, yeah.
And recently I was a podcast with this guy. He's a fighter, Damian Maya.
Ooh.
And man, he hit some bars that I got to repeat. He said, like, the way you are in jiu-jitsu is the way you are in life.
Jeez.
And when you change one, and so therefore, so you start there. The way you are in jiu-jitsu, the way you are in life. So let's say you don't try every day. You don't take classes seriously. You don't pay attention. You quit early. whatever it is, right? That is how you are in life. And because they're the same, when you change one, you change the other. So if you make the decision to not quit when you're tired, to go an extra round, to show up every day, to listen to your professor, to stay calm in stressful situations, then in life that happens too. What? And like me specifically, like my style of jiu-jitsu is something where, and my wife talks to me about, my wife talks smack to me all this time, but it's like, sometimes I like to do the wrestler style where I focus on control. Mm-hmm. And that's going to get you to a certain place.
Right.
But like the professionals are always seeking the submission, seeking the finish.
Right.
And so I have a tendency to control and just kind of like, and just ride out the match and just take the safe way out. Mm-hmm. Don't take risks. And in life, and not go straight to the finish, right?
Right.
But in life, I found that was happening for me too. Like I would find tasks that would make me feel like I'm being productive, but not actually going straight for the result. And so that's something I've been working on, is on the mats, I'm trying to go for the finish. And in life, I also need to start going for the finish, going directly from point A to B.
Yeah.
Instead of just kind of hitting little things along the way. No, like I want to finish. That's my goal. Let me try that. And if I mess up, well, at least I'm getting better at trying to go for the finish.
Right.
And it's just crazy. Like, and if you get triggered in life because someone said something stupid to you, well, on the mats, that happens too. Someone hits a move on you and you didn't like it.
Yeah.
And now you're triggered and you're going to react with anger.
Yeah.
And when you react with anger, it's not conducive because you no longer could think straight. Right. You're not getting what do you want? You want to win?
Right.
Well, if you react triggered and angered, then you're not going to get the result that you want.
It messes up your game.
Yeah. So it doesn't actually give you what you want. And so, and just in life and jiu-jitsu is the same. When you change one, you can change the other. And it's just beautiful.
Yeah, that's true. I love jiu-jitsu, man. That's one sport that I want to get back into. And that's a sport that anybody can do from any age. Like, the what tripped me out, man, was grappling with my professor, Alberto. Bro, guy was like 45, hardest working cat ever, like did 200 sit-ups, like nothing, like tapping out everybody, bro. Like we're like 3 times his size. Like, I played football in high school. So, I was always, strong from working out. But this guy, I learned like jiu-jitsu is not even a game of strength. It's a game of leverage.
Right, leverage.
So it's just like this guy was tapping everybody out, bro. Like,
isn't that wild?
It's crazy. Yo.
And that's why it's designed for people that are less strong because, and that's why, like, if I see someone that's stronger and I know they don't train, it's not even a question for me whether I'll how that fight will go down. And it's not because I'm guessing. It's because I've put thousands of hours on the mat.
Yeah,
and I've dealt with a lot of bigger people, and I'm not a huge guy. Yeah. And so I've dealt with people that are much stronger than me, but less skilled.
Right.
And so I'm not guessing. I know because I've done it 100 times. Yep. So when somebody comes on the mat and they're unskilled, and so that's such an empowering feeling, especially if you're a smaller guy. And like, I'm never going to be I'm never going to have huge muscles, right? I'm not going to be like huge. I can get stronger, but I'm never going to be really big.
You can if you juice up.
If I juice up, I know. Hey, it's very tempting. One day maybe, maybe in my 50s or 60s or something. But yeah, so
I want to add to that, bro.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty big. I'm 6'2". At the time, I wasn't weighing as the weight I'm weighing now. I'm 230, but at the time when I was competing, I was like, when I had to cut weight for competitions, I was like 175. I was shredded, bro.
Wow.
But I took it serious. Like I was shredded, bro. But I'm so tall that I was going against bigger people than me. So there was this guy. He was older than me, but he had a wrestling background, wrestled in high school and college. Brock Lesnar size, like 275, juice head. And I would always go against him, bro. So I remember one day just going in the gym and just telling myself, like, I'm going to tap you out today. Because he was strong too. And I was just like, man, in my head, I was like, I'm going to tap you out. I'm going to tap you out. So we started grappling together, bro. And I got him in a leg triangle, but I couldn't lock it in. And I kept trying and trying and trying, and it was slipping, but I just kept going for it and just never let go of my grip, bro. And then I just twisted my hips a little bit.
Yep.
And I got him, bro. I locked it in and I pulled his head down, arched my hips, and I feel the tap, boom, boom, boom. Bro, feeling. I got up. Oh
no.
Bro, it was like the best feeling ever, bro. Like, I was like, bro, I just tapped a 275 guy. So, you know, I was like, man, I felt like the big dog in the gym, you know?
You know what? That's interesting about that story. We talked about like demanding that state, right? Mm-hmm. And that state is like the operating system and the way you see the world. Because you walked into that gym that day primed with that intention.
Yeah.
You were ready for that moment. And if you said this, if you walked into the gym that day and said, this guy's stronger than me, he wrestled in college, he's buff, whatever it is, right? Then you would have had an excuse to not try.
Right.
Oh, I can let this go because I don't, because he has more experience than me and I'm not going to get this anyway. Yeah. But because you were primed and you were in the right state.
Right.
And that is the importance of looking at the world through the right frame.
Okay. So I'm glad you brought that up, bro, because I asked you what does state mean for you? And you told me the answer, but now you put it in an example, the one that I just gave you. So there's another example I could say. So in San Clemente, before I opened up my shop, I was working at another shop in town. You know, we have Camp Pendleton, so we have the Marines pull up every Sunday. Hundreds of Marines swarm the shops. There's barbers in there doing 50, 70, 80, 90 haircuts in one day, but it's all level, it's all volume. Boom, boom, in and out, boom, boom, in and out. One day, there's one cat that always had the highest numbers. One day I told him, I walked in and I told him, I was like, I'm gonna beat your record today. I was like, and I'm gonna beat my record and I'm gonna beat your record. I'm gonna hit 95 haircuts today.
Oh my God.
I dropped the number 95 haircuts. And I was thinking about this the night before. I had to prep myself. I was like, I need to get my sleep. I gotta before work, pick up my lunch because I'm not gonna take a break. If I have to, grab a couple bites while I'm working, like that's what I'm gonna do. So I go in the shop and I was like, his name is Jaime. I was like, Jaime, like I'm gonna beat my record today and I'm gonna beat your record and I'm gonna hit 95 haircuts today. So they start coming in 8:00, boom, boom, I'm in. I'm like, I'm killing it. I'm not even watching the time. I'm not even watching how many cuts I have. I'm just going boom, 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 next. And I know like I have a lot of cuts. I just don't know how many. And I remember it was like getting towards the end of the day. It was like 7:00. We closed at 8. 7:30, bro. I think I was at like 80 haircuts. And then I was like, damn, I was like, if there's another rush that comes in, I'm gonna hit my numbers. Cause there's always a last minute rush. And so I was waiting and boom, there was a rush that came in. Started getting them in. Kid you not, bro, I hit 95 haircuts that day.
Wow.
I left the shop with like $1,500. And I had a high, bro. I had a high because I think that was like the most I made ever, like just on haircuts. And then also the high of just me being in that state that we were talking about. And yeah, bro, there was a lot of situations in my life where I had that same state where things happened and I was down. So now I appreciate you for bringing that up because I just got to keep reminding myself about that mentality. Yeah.
It's just everything. Like if you're in sales, especially if you're in sales, because sales is very mental oriented. Right. Yeah. And just anything. It's like if you aren't prepared and you didn't tell yourself that I'm going to make this particular thing happen, then it gives you an excuse not to. Right. You want to win a race and you're like, I'm going to win this race today. And then it comes close and it gets really hard and you're a little gassed. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, I just tried my best as opposed to like, no, I told myself I'm going to win today. I need to do everything possible and just approaching whatever it is. And I think one of the keys to that is it has to be very specific. I like the specificity of like the 95 haircuts. Yeah. No, that's what tripped me out was that I didn't hit 93 haircuts. I didn't hit 94. I didn't hit 96. I hit 95. The number
that I told them.
Yeah.
That was the number that I got.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Yeah, and so what's next for you? What are you trying to accomplish in the next couple of years?
So what's next for me, bro? Like, I have the same state for content right now. So right now, I'm all in with my content. I had my Ambitious Edge, my company page, did good, 15K. But I want to start building my personal brand. And then
Why?
Why? Because personal branding is very important. Because you could, one day, who knows, I might sell the shops. One day I might want to sell the brand. But your name is always going to be your name.
Yeah.
So that's very important. And you could also build other companies within your name. So if your name is associated with other companies and you have your content shit and it's you got, the followers and subscribers, and that adds to your other companies. Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of cats that are making multi-7 figures off of just content alone. Big Boy from Strength Cartel. Man, I've known that guy for like 15 years. I was there when he started. He drives Lamborghinis. Like he has all types of toys. He's making 6 figures a month on social media. And that's not even including like sponsorships. That's not including his clothing brands, his clothing, his apparel. It's not including his supplements. So he's killing it, bro. And another one I know, Cali Muscle. He's in like, Cali Muscle. So I know like the numbers they're making. And so I'm around, content creators like Batman Cavill, Mike Barron. Albert Preciado is also one of my mentors. I paid for his masterminds, and I flew private with him and his closest business partners and his family. And, it's just breaking the family curse again. It's like nobody in my family has ever flown private, so they say like, if you can think it, if you can smell it, if you can touch it, if you can make it happen once, you can make it happen again, So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Content, scaling my barbershops, running better plays, better systems and operations, so that I could step away from cutting hair to start building my personal brand, and also to be able to help barbers that need help scaling their businesses. There's a lot of barbers out there that want to open up barbershops that don't know how to, don't know what steps to take. And that's what I want to start doing for them, is to be able to mentor them, because I've already gone through the steps. I've already opened one shop, not just one. I've opened up 2 shops. I work with celebrity clientele. I work with NFL players. Like, I'm making a lot, like I make money. I'm cutting billionaires. Like, I'm making thousands of dollars off just one cut, like these big cats, like I'll charge them, like $2,000. The most I've ever gotten paid was $4,000 off one cut.
For one cut?
Yep.
What kind of service was that?
It was just it was an NFL draft. During COVID. He was a first round draft pick. Panay Sewell.
Okay.
He flew me out and I met his whole family. I ended up cutting like his whole family. And he comes from an NFL background, bro. They're Samoans. All of his brothers are in the NFL.
Wow.
He's in the Detroit Lions. He's got another brother that's in the Chicago Bears. He's got another brother in the New Orleans Saints. And then he's got another brother that's in the AFL. And actually a couple weeks ago, I did a house call to a private event. He needed me to cut him up for a private event, and it was a huge mansion in West Hollywood.
Wow. Super
nice mansion, bro. And I cut him up because he was getting married, and the coaches were there too. That was crazy, bro. It's like, It's a movie. So, bro, he was like on a low on time. So my intentions were, there to pull up and shoot content, but they were, they had to, take pictures and everything. So I didn't get content, but for future reference, like I'm still tapped in, So, he told me that he's going to invite me to the stadiums. Also, I know Isaac Seumalo, a guy plays for the the Eagles. He also invited me to the stadium. I have another buddy, man, that plays for Texans. I have another buddy that plays for the Niners. Like, so just content. I want to monetize my content.
Yeah.
That's the play right there.
Yeah. And about the personal brand, that's so important. I've started and pivoted from like dozens of businesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what's happened to all of them? Well, they're in the graveyard someplace.
Right.
And the thing that persists is my personal brand. So I wish I spent more time on my personal brand instead of all these individual brands. And so when you do that, it doesn't matter what you're doing in business because you're still elevating yourself. Like the businesses come and go. That's just the reality.
Yeah.
If you're a lifelong entrepreneur, you're going to have multiple ventures. But if you focus on your personal brand, that's going to persist beyond all of the other ventures that you take on.
Right.
So that's a super smart play.
Yeah.
And I've been hitting content hard too. I recently got to 123,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Killing it, bro.
Yeah.
Killing it. Congratulations.
And, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And TikTok. I hit TikTok during the pandemic. That one was a weird one, man. I had a couple videos go viral, and then I went from like 10,000 to like 100,000 followers on TikTok. And now it's like I can't get more than like 5,000 views on TikTok. Yeah. I think I hear a lot of people say the same thing about TikTok.
Yeah.
But
so as far as the personal branding and your company's brandings. So when I was learning about branding, I learned, because I was reading books, I was studying books. I learned that if you want to create a brand, or if you want to create a company, that has to be relatable to the owner, right? So Ambitious Edge. So the acronyms for Ambitious Edge are the acronyms for my name, Alex Estrada, right? And if you look at my logo, it's got the 1940. And people think like, oh, like, okay, I know you're not that old. So what does that mean? And so I tell him, I was like, okay, I'm a 3rd generation barber. That was my grandfather's birthday, the year he was born. So there's companies that have numbers on them. So it keeps the people like intrigued. Like, what does that mean? What is that? Like L or G, I think, has like a number like 87 or something. So it keeps them guessing, like, what does that mean? So I incorporated that. And then 1940 is a good number, So I put it there. And then when I did the logo, it was like the A was for the A for ambitious, for Alex. And then on the sides, it's got like wings that look like E's for ambitious, edge for the edge, or for my last name, Estrada. So I was like, I love that logo, bro. Like, yes, it's mine, but I always get a lot of compliments. And I did my study, bro. Like, I read books. So I was like, man, this is just going to be my logo, because it's got like, it's me and my company.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to keep that logo. Like, I'm not going to get rid of it. I have plans with that. And, but I also want to start building my personal.
Yeah. And your brand name is awesome, because Ambitious Edge.
Right.
It's edge like barber, like edging up.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's also ambitious. So it kind of gives a tone of, it's like the mass movement.
Exactly.
Where it's like you want to be a part of a group of ambitious people.
Right.
And so that's really cool.
So when I started thinking of names for my brand, a lot of barbers, man, barbershop owners, they're named after their barbershops. Jerry's Barbershop. Yeah. And the thing is that I was going to make clothing, and I did. Like, I sold the clothing out of my shop, hats, everything. But I didn't, like, I'm not going to wear another man's name on my shirts, So I was like, I had to think of ways to have that name relatable to everybody, and just to have a good message that people could relate to. So I came up with Ambitious Edge. And like you said, edge is a part of barbering for the straight edge razor, but it also could mean like somebody that lives on the edge.
That's true.
People that are willing to take a risk, people that are willing to go all in new ventures, people that are not scared to do the things most people are. Yeah. So that's.
Yeah, and that's the kind of brand. So that's really smart, because on one end you want to build your personal brand. On the other side, you want to have a brand name that people would be interested in carrying on for themselves.
Right.
And so you were already thinking about the franchise play before you even.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's always been. That was my first thought. It's franchise.
Yeah.
Fucking start with one shop.
Yeah.
Get my license first. And yeah.
Hell yeah. So next for you is you want to, potentially grow the barbershop, make other people help other barbers that are trying to get their foothold.
Yeah.
Building personal content. What else? Anything else?
Just keep surrounding myself with good people. Keep surrounding myself with people that are more successful than me. Continue seeking mentors.
Yeah.
You just got to keep investing in yourself, to take your success to the next level. Just go all in on this social media content, bro. Like, just go all in with everything with my life. I'm so focused right now. Like, I haven't drank alcohol in 6 months. I'm reading books. Right now, like, I'm very aware of my time and who I spend it with and how I spend it. And I know that I just got to keep working hard.
Yeah.
And that's going to take me to where I want to go.
Oh, yeah.
So it's my mindset, like, keep investing in my mindset. Yep.
Yeah. And what about mentorship? How has mentorship played a big role in your life, or has it played a big role? Man,
mentorship has played a huge role, man. I've been in rooms with the biggest content creators in the world. I've been with billionaires. I've been in rooms with Manny Koshbin. I've been in rooms with Glenn Stearns. I've been in rooms with Albert Preciado, Mike Barron, Alex Hermosi. I flew private jets, and it's the conversations that are said behind the doors in those rooms. And you're not going to hear that game anywhere else. Like they say, you got to pay to play. And it's helped me get recognized too. It's helped me get credibility for my companies, for my name. Like, people see me and they're like, man, you're making big moves. Like, bro, like, you're inspiring. Like I saw you, like, when you first started in your garage. Like, I remember you had just one station, you had the towels on the floor, and you had the mirror, and then you open up your first shop and your second one, and now you're like with these big cats, and it's inspiring. It inspires people, bro. Yeah. So it gives me like motivation, and it keeps me going hard, and it feels good.
Yeah. Well, now you're gonna be able to do that for other people. That are a few steps behind, right, looking to get where you're at.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's why I keep going hard, and this is just the beginning, bro. Because I'm just like so fired up, and now I know that what I got, all the hard work that I've put to get me where I am today, I just got to keep. I got to raise the intensity to get to the next. So I'm excited for my future, and I know I'm gonna do good things, and I want to be just tapped in with good people, man.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Cool. We're just about out of time. It went quick.
Yeah, no, it did, man. We had a good conversation.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah. So any other message you want to put out to the people? Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, so if there's any barbers out there that, want to open up a barbershop, or even just scale your business, or if you guys want to run the plays that I want, that I do, social media, I have, videos that are going viral, posts that are going viral. People are hitting me up like I want to learn how to do it. If you want to learn how to do it, if you want to learn how to be able to open up a barbershop, even if you don't cut hair and want to open up a business, like, I could help you. I could mentor you. Follow my Instagram at the Alexander Estrada. You can also follow my business page, Ambitious Edge. Subscribe to my YouTube channel also, Ambitious Edge, and the Alexander Estrada, man. So if you guys, have any questions, hit me up. I'll hit you back, and it's all love, man.
Yes, sir. But I want to ask about your podcast too. So you recently started doing podcasting yourself, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so I hired Albert Preciado, right? He's a big social media content creator. He's in the rooms with the biggest people in content right now. Brad Lee, Wes Watson, anybody you name, he's tapped in with them. So what he does is he has a podcast, and he'll do long form content. And in that long form content, he'll do little 60-second reels. He'll repurpose those reels to all his other platforms. And that's what's getting his views. And so that's what I want to start doing, bro, is exactly that. That's the podcast play that I'm running. And it's just branding, man. It's just more content. I believe there's like 411,000 people that are new people on social media. So every day, he gave me the stats, 411,000 people every day that are joining social media.
Wow.
So he's like, if you want to get known, you have to post content. And he's like, you got to post at least 8 times a day.
8 times a day?
At least, bro. If you want to get known, you got to post 8 times a day. And, you know, I started my new brand, my new personal, you know, page on Instagram. It was an older one, but I changed the name to my personal branding. So it already had like 100 something followers, right? So after that Batman Kevo like mastermind, I started running the plays 3 reels a day. So with the 3 reels a day, it's been I think like what, a month, month and a half, maybe 2. I've been staying consistent, posting 3 reels a day. My account is at 500 plus.
Wow.
500 plus, bro, just from posting 3 reels a day.
Oh, it's organic?
All organic, no paid ads. Like, I've had videos that I had on my business page that went viral too, like millions of views. It's just consistency, posting. And I know, like, the big content creators that I'm friends with, and that's the same thing they say, bro. It's like content. Like, if you want to get known, like, bro, you can't just post once a week. Like, you can't post once a day. Like, you got to be a big dog, and you got to, if you want to be with the big dogs, you got to operate like a big dog. The big dogs are not just posting once a day. Like, these fools are posting like multiple times a day, and that's on every platform. Yeah, you know, so there's a bar for you guys. I should be charging for this game, but you know, I'm doing this for Alistair, man, and you know, hell yeah, so, I got the plays, bro. But yeah, so podcasting, vlogging, just day in the life when I'm like with the NFL cats, celebrities, content creators, man, like that's all social media. Facility, bro, that's all social media. So everything, you are the content. Yeah. You know, you're a successful guy. You're already a 7-figure earner. You know how many people look up to you. You know how many people want your game. You know how many people want to be in your position. So anything you say is very impactful, you know? So there's people looking up to you, man. So if you just wake up, post something real, something inspirational, bro, you can impact lives. That's true. You know?
Yeah. That's why we do this, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Dope. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Yep. It's been a great conversation. Yeah, man. And a lot of game for people. And I'm sure this is going to be seen all over social media.
Oh, come on now. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, bro. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, thank you, man.
All right, cool. Until next time, subscribe, like, and follow Alex Estrada.
Let's go, baby.
All right, see you guys.